Hello, my name is Anthony. My pronouns are he, him, his. Gender-based violence takes multiple forms and it occurs on various levels. I think that one of the forces, the driving forces behind gender-based violence is toxic masculinity. And toxic masculinity isn't something that's just harmful to women, it's harmful to the men who exhibit those behaviors. I'm a writing teacher and I teach my kids every day that words matter. In a relationship where there's abuse happening, the perpetrator normalizes the violence. They start with these little words like bitch, hoe, and they may pass them off as if they're joking. And then after that, it becomes normalized. And now if we look at oppression on a societal level, it happens almost the exact same way. The people who are in power label the group that they want to oppress as something as less than human. They label them as savages, or they say that they're cursed by Christianity like they did with African Americans. After that language has been accepted, after you've called them something that no one else wants to be, after you've called them something that no one else wants to help or be associated with, it makes it much easier for the oppressor or the abuser to isolate that individual. And to tie this back to gender-based violence, there are a lot of people who won't help someone who's been labeled as a bitch, even if that person is passed out on the floor in a party. They don't want to be called Captain Save-A-Ho. Stats show that it's around 5% of men actually commit sexual assault and these acts of violence against women. The problem is that so many men speak like they do. When you're surrounded by a bunch of men who normalize this language of violence against women, you are essentially the tall grass that the lion hides in before they pounce on their prey. At the very least, you're providing protection and camouflage. We're at a point in our society right now where someone can admit to sexual assault, and then all they have to do is say, I was just kidding, for everyone to believe that man. We've heard a man compare Mexicans to rapists and said he didn't mean that, and only choose to react after we see Mexican children put in cages. We've ignored the words, and now it's too late. We have a moral obligation to change the culture. We have to hold each other accountable for this type of oppression and this type of abuse to end. If you call someone your friend, but you can't call them out on their bullshit, they're not your friend. When it comes to toxic masculinity and these behaviors that are harmful to men who portray these traits, it is extremely important for men to come forward and say, hey, bro, you're messing up. Why? Because men who exhibit toxic masculinity are more likely to go to jail. They're more likely to commit suicide. They're more likely to become alcoholics and abuse drugs. Words matter. And the reason we have this problem is because we don't take them seriously. It's time that we discuss the root of the issue. It's time that we take a stand and make change.